Well, here she is, everybody. How you doing, Kateline? You're probably waiting for me to say howdy, Holtheads, but I already did. You're a little tardy because someone didn't want to ride from the airport to the ArcLight.
Yeah, sorry. It took me a while to cop an oob, but I'm here.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you made it in okay. I asked everybody to remain completely silent. That's why they didn't cheer or anything, okay? It's not like they're like mad at you or anything. They have been instructed to not speak this entire show. Cool?
Okay.
That's the vibe I like of an award show, is complete silence. Almost pretending like nobody's even there. But we got a packed house. Looks like every seat is full, except for AA22, my seat, where after I'm cremated, I want stuffed inside the seat cushion. That's wide open. Maybe they're like saving it for me in spirit. I love that. But anyway, Kateline, it's good to see ya. Care to share with the crowd what you're up to? Now, as the Holtheads do not know, because one of the Kurts did not finish editing the pre-show bit, but you were gone for a week. You didn't tell me where you were going when I dropped you off. Probably not going to tell me where you went now that you're back. But I feel obligated to ask, what can you tell us about your government stuff that you were away doing?
Listen, I signed some NDAs. I can't share it with y'all.
All right. Yo, what about that train right through the snow? She didn't even send me a pic. You rode a train through the snow, didn't even send your boy a pic.
There wasn't that much snow.
Okay, but also, I said, OMG, who else do we know that takes a train through the snow but J-Mink? So I said, what's up? You guys stopping off at Moosonee?
I did not go to Moosonee.
Was it close?
No. It was a couple thousand miles away from Moosonee.
Darn it. All right. You know, I do feel like my only reference for trains and snow is the movie White Christmas. And I feel like I've never actually seen a snow. Oh, wait, other than that, what's that Chris movie with the, you know what I'm talking about?
Polar Express?
No. There's a Chris, and I think they eat babies, and he's not proud of it.
Oh, Snowpiercer.
Boom. There you go.
Let's,
Should we start?
let's keep this moving.
Yeah.
I'm Lester Holt.
Howdy, Hollywood. Welcome to the 2024 LESTY Awards. Hey, Kurt Money and Kateline. You ready to get this LESTY started?
Yes, we are. All right. Kateline, look, I know you refuse to talk about anything about you, and you really fell through on delivering a snowy train ride. But, yo, did you give me something? I always want a little...
No.
You didn't give me a thing?
No.
What? My God.
No.
All right. Let's start handing out these Lestys. Because here's the deal. I'm going to tell you the categories, and a lot of them have like nicknames, like goofs on it. So you got to take a second to guess what episode it is.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, also, throughout here, we're going to take like 2 commercial breaks. We got 2 sponsors lined up. Of course, one of them you know well. I hit him up while you were gone. Pib Extra, sponsoring ILH. Eh?
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, for real?
So let's suck down. What? No. Oh, wait, are you goofing? I'm dumb. Look, I'm really, I just
No.
slept for an hour. I don't know.
I wasn't goofing.
Oh. We're not quite to sponsorship numbers yet.
No, we're like 100,000 listeners away from that.
Yep, just 100,000. We'll get there, though. We're going to get there.
Good, honey.
Right up top, first category is...
Lawyer we want on retainer.
If we're in trubs legal-wise, we want this person on our side. First nominee
The one-armed rugby hero.
from episode 14.
Right.
What do you remember about him?
Yes.
Do you remember the deets about why he has one arm or why he's a hero?
It was something very heroic. Hey, how about that reveal of the defense attorney with one hand?
Just part of that arm, huh? I mean, go ahead, Kate. Tell me what you thought about that defense attorney. His name is Jamie. Just go ahead and say something about him. He defended Mike Turney, right? So he's probably like a real a-hole or something. Just share your thoughts on what you thought about old Jamie.
Listen, Kurt, a defense attorney, they're just doing their job. Every American citizen is entitled to a defense.
You're right. But like Jamie, like he stunk, right? Like he was like a loser. Wasn't he like a lame guy?
Well, he won.
Damn. Okay. I'm trying to get you to say something bad about it because AC talked about this guy on the pod. Dude's a fucking hero. Wait till I tell you what did not make the episode. Why he only has one arm.
Why?
This guy was a fucking hockey player in Canada. Okay? His team is on a bus to an away game, gets into a wreck. Boom! Loses the arm to the elbow. Shifts gears. Becomes a lawyer. Is in Vegas a few years ago when a mass shooting happens. He's there, I guess, just being a lawyer in Vegas. Sees a woman bleeding to death on the street from the mayhem and from the shooting. Whips his belt off with his one arm. Ties it around this woman, tourniquet style. Gets her to a hospital. Saves her life. Boom! And that guy's also public defender.
Yeah, that's a hero.
Okay, so that's number one. That's a tall order. Number two.
The Red Googler, episode 36.
Who's that? Who's the Red Googler?
The Red Googler?
Yep.
Was it someone who had to Google how to be a lawyer?
You're damn right.
Was he the one who was telling Keith details of lawyering?
No, that you're referring to the Harvard graduate guy that is trying to be cool to Keith. That's actually from The Night That Time Stopped.
You know, looks really can be deceiving.
Okay, I'm being a goof about saying we want him. What we really don't want is to ever have to hire this guy. Because this phone will be covered in red.
Yes.
Remy is an all-timer for Dateline, and his lawyer is also an all-timer.
He is
Tell us about
the
him.
worst lawyer we've ever seen on Dateline.
Ever.
They were alarmed by Gilberto Garcia's inexperience.
It was kind of unclear what type of law he practiced.
He's not a lawyer. He'd never tried a single case in court. He'd only done like divorces or something.
No, the only criminal case he ever tried, he quit halfway through.
Telling the judge he wasn't competent enough to defend his client.
That's him talking, saying, "Judge, take me off of this. This isn't fair to my client because I don't know what I'm talking about." That's the guy that Remy's parents hire for him to defend him. And Remy seems stoked. I mean, he thinks his lawyer is ready.
He even says, "My lawyer's been ready. We've been ready for weeks."
Yeah.
He was extremely respectful, was very happy that I was there.
My attorney's been ready forever. We've been ready.
And then, no, because then the trial happens and they call 0 expert witnesses. They call one person to the stand, Remy.
And also, the lawyer never objected to anything.
No.
I don't think he knew that you could. Remember when he holds up the cell phone and he's like, "This is a killer." What?
Yeah, and he's going, "This will eventually be covered in red." What? What is going to be covered in red?
The phone?
What are you talking about?
It's going to be covered in blood?
Who knows?
What are you saying?
Yeah.
We're going to paint this red, and it will be red at the end. If there is a reasonable let's move on. I'm not going to go there. This little thing can be a killer.
He's shockingly bad.
Shockingly bad.
I'm a better lawyer.
Number 3, the last nominee for this category.
The COVID Denier Defender, episode 12.
Any ideas?
The COVID denier defender.
Her client,
Why? Why do you feel the need for me to say that?
we like much less than we like her.
And I just want to say that I think the all-star of this episode,
Who you got?
Matt's attorney.
Duh! She's good.
I loved her.
Oh my
I
God.
thought if something happens to
Oh my
me, I'm calling that lady. She ruled.
I mean, she was really selling that. I was laughing. She goes, "Ooh, they did say that. That's a bad fact. Ooh."
And then even the state of Ohio in their closing argument just now had to concede that, you know what he says? You might want to go in. Ooh, that's a bad fact, right?
And the winner is the one-armed rugby hero.
And now he's got to make room on his shelf next to his hero awards for a nice big shiny gold Lesty.
He couldn't be here today to collect his award. All the awards will be shipped out to the recipients.
Allegedly.
Category 2. Oh, wait. Before I tell you about the second category, there's about 3 times tonight where I'm going to introduce a new segment called Kurt Fessional, where I give a little inside scoop behind the edit if something went down. Number 2 at the 2024 Lesty Awards.
Most Murphdog things said.
This is a tough category. Every Murphdog episode had a Murphdog soundbite that's worth discussion.
We got 4 nominees here, but it could have been 20 because him saying, "Does your nose twitch a little?" Like, there's just a billion things old Murphdog is always spouting where I'm like, okay, soundbite. Okay. Like, we goof on him a bunch, but he's a big part of the edit because these soundbites, like, they are big parts of, like, ending segments every episode.
Listen, we love Murphdog. He's
Yeah.
He's hilarious, often unintentionally, and we razz him because we love him.
That's true.
And don't forget, Dateline is his show.
He does a Dateline when he wants. Oh, this is AC territory? Not today, AC. Murphdog's in here to get the scoop with that handsome guy. Friggin' Fotis. Do you remember Fotis?
I remember Fotis.
I'd like not to discuss this.
Number 1 for most Murphdog things said.
Well, I'll be episode 12.
Well, I'll be.
Yes.
It's good, right?
That's my favorite, probably.
It's good. Is it because of the context in which he said it, or just, like, because he said it to
It's both.
two Karens in the woods?
It's both, because the thing that they found in the woods was not significant at all. The fact that it was still there months later.
No.
But he needed to spin it to sound interesting, and that is what he came up with. Well, I'll be.
Here's the little ceramic angel that we found.
I'll be. You found that very piece here.
Like, he's got a feign interest on that. That was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Number 2.
Boom Shakalaka, episode 9.
Boom shakalaka. I mean, that's a saying for a reason.
Yeah. It was wild because when we do From the Vaults, like, we would take turns picking episodes, and I had heard him say that, Boom Shakalaka. Paulo Sladowski was Boom Shakalaka. And I was like, we gotta talk about this ep somehow, because he says something wild, and then you picked it the very next week, not knowing it was that episode.
I did.
That's pretty crazy.
That's kismet. I chose this one because it's the oldest episode available on Peacock.
Yep.
I did not realize, however, that it was the exact same episode that features our boy Murphdog saying boom shakalaka.
Paulus Ladusky was Boom Shakalaka.
Boom Shakalaka. This was the one.
This
was the one.
That's pure coincidence.
That's still our oldest episode that we covered, Death of a Golden Girl, a case that is still unsolved. BT Dubs. Kevin Clem, I don't know what he's up to today.
Yeah, they're not going to solve that one.
I don't think so. Number 3.
Picture Perfect, episode 40.
I know you heard that before.
That scene was so frustrating.
Yeah.
I thought they were never going to leave that back alley. They were just going to stand there and say picture perfect in a million different ways.
What's funny is, like, he's not the one who says picture perfect. That's Detective Val Vaughn, who we still love.
We love.
And who's somewhere in the audience today just because we're close now. We're just friends.
Absolutely.
It's not what he said. It's that he forced Val Vaughn to say it again and again and again because he kept following it up with, well, a TV director would probably put the camera there. They do go on a little tour of around John Hickey's apartment, and they go in the back alley.
Detective, you really got to scope these buildings out to figure out what's back here and how you find where you're going.
Yes,
You do.
You definitely do, and have to watch your steps.
And they see, well, here's John's apartment, so a killer could have entered through any of these windows. And then they look up at the wall over there, and they see a security camera.
Is that where you'd want to place a camera for what you're looking for?
And boy, does Murphdog lose his at this reveal.
It's as if Murph has never seen a security camera before.
Never. Or never thought that people can choose where to put them.
For this case, it was perfect.
That was
Picture
it.
perfect. Picture perfect.
A TV director himself would have put it in that same place.
Right there.
And bless Val for her patience in this alleyway when Murph just won't stop talking about this camera. Yes, it is a camera. Yes, it is positioned in a convenient location. Yes, it did capture the criminal.
Yeah.
What else could she say?
Well, in her mind, she already told the capper of the story, and that was that it was picture perfect.
Lo and behold, there's a camera looking dead at us. Picture perfect.
I mean, she said picture perfect 3 times. So, like, I know that in her retelling of this, that's always the end of the story for her. So she's baffled why Murphdog wants to keep talking about the placement of the camera. It's like, Murphdog, we covered it. It was picture perfect, bro. Move on. And number 4, last nominee for this category.
It's Nice to Have a Buddy, episode 19.
It is nice to have a buddy.
It's very nice, and I love to use it in the context of when we roast them or I say something kind of nice. And then I use this clip saying it's nice to have a buddy.
It's sweet.
We're just having fun here, kid. Look, we know for a fact they don't prefer Murphdog to AC, right? That's not up for debate, correct? No offense to Murphdog, okay? I'm going to defend him tonight, and I like the guy.
It's nice to have a buddy.
And the winner is Boom Shakalaka.
Wow. Okay.
Now, look, this was a tough one. I could have made a case for all 4 of these. Do you feel like this is justified?
It's fine with me. Who am I to question what the people want?
I think it was like the first big one where I was like slack-jawed, just going like, what did he just say? What? He didn't say boom shakalaka, did he?
I think I'd also like to give honorable mention to Bill Hader doing Murphdog with...
He does Murphdog too?
Yeah. Their LOLs quickly turn to WTFs.
I love that, and as a fan of Bill Hader and comedy, I love it. But as a person who spends a lot of time talking about this stuff, has never said it anywhere near as concise as that, I'm like jealous. It's kind of like you when you heard Murphdog talking about My Cousin Vinny. What do you think?
Yeah, fair. Murph also pointed that out on the Talking Dateline. He was like, oh, we got a My Cousin Vinny situation here. And I was like, Murph, come on. Yeah.
He said the movie.
He did.
It almost sounds like that old movie, My Cousin Vinny, where the witness gets on the stand and describes in great detail, the hemicarb.
I like that. I like that.
He's blowing up my spot.
He's blowing up your spot?
Yeah.
No, but it's a bond that you have with him. You like it when you agree with J-Mink. What, all of a sudden you agree with Murphdog and you're like, get off my back, dude. Get off my balls.
Well, totally. Yeah, because I'm a bully.
Category 3.
Worst children.
Well, I know who's winning this one.
All right, so here are the nominees. I got 4 nominees for you. So number 1.
The Maestro, episode 33.
What can you tell me about the Maestro? Charlie Adelson.
He was the one with the license plate that said Maestro.
And what did you say he was conducting?
Murder.
Yeah, murder. Murder, and very poorly.
Charlie, the son, is kind of a f*** up, but ends up working for his dad's dentistry eventually.
Yeah.
After taking kind of a circuitous route of being like a deadbeat.
Yeah, privileged wanderer.
Yes, and then they just sort of give him a career.
Yeah.
We hear a phone call between Donna and Charlie right after that.
He's like, what? No, what? No. And he's kind of dense to get through to his head, because his first thought is, this dumb shit. What, is it about me? Wait, is it about me?
It's like he wants to be arrested?
Yes! Idiot! Oh! The prosecutor, her tone, oh, did I love it. Because she was really going after these guys.
Did she talk about getting a boat and you offered to help her get a boat?
I never offered to help her get a boat. I offered to help her look for a boat.
Do you think you can talk your way out of this?
No, I don't. I'm not part of a murder.
Old Charlie is 1,000% a Dateline watcher. Okay?
Doesn't he say Dateline like 4 times?
He does. In the episode, he does.
Charlie said the trial played out like a particular TV show. You know the one.
It was like sitting in the courtroom watching Dateline. Like it deviated from being a trial to being Dateline.
So they realized they were losing. They had to turn it into Dateline. Nobody watches Dateline without coming away with their own, thinking they figured it out.
Guess what? I know how many times he said it on all of the tapes together, because in Talking Dateline, Murphdog offers up that there were 4 days of conversation that, like, production assistants had to listen to for stuff. And in those 4 days of tapes, Charlie says Dateline 30 times. 30.
What an idiot.
Yeah. And J-Mate goes,
he's a regular viewer. We should send him a hat.
J-Make's hilarious.
He is. Nominee number 2.
The Day Trader, episode 32.
Yes, this guy.
Nick Shaughnessy, who only wanted to work remote, day trading, and trying to be Wolf of Wall Street. And instead, he tried to kill his loving parents. Nick goes to the cops and says, hey, my parents are really technologically illiterate, and I've got to do all their tech for them. So I have this app that you can see when their security system was activated, if you want to look at that.
He offers up evidence against himself, and he doesn't even realize it.
Countless times. Countless times. I mean...
He also says, I wasn't here. I was at my apartment in College Station. I have lots of surveillance on my own apartment. There's footage of me and my wife there.
Idiot.
If you want to see proof that I wasn't here, which is like, okay, red flag.
Yeah, if you need to rule us out, I have a lot of security cameras. We want to see them now, bud. I mean, what a fucking idiot to offer that up. It's come up before. He's the classic Columbo villain where he keeps offering suggestions, thinking he's throwing you off the trail when it's like, no, dude, you're throwing scent bombs that lead right back to your dumbass.
He told them about an incident that happened years earlier in the 90s when his dad ran a pawn shop.
He spoke of somebody robbing them.
His father fired back, injuring the robber, who was later sent to prison.
That already, guess what, listeners? Nick f***ing killed his dad and wanted to kill his mom.
They found the box of shell casings in his closet that matched the murder weapon.
Yeah.
The exact match. Nick is a freeloader. He doesn't go to school. He decides when he graduates from high school that he wants to do some day trading. So Ted and Corey give him $30,000 to start his day trading business, and he blows through it all on not his business, on just living a lavish lifestyle. Then they also pay all his bills for him, and his rent, and his car, and everything.
30 minutes on the dot is when I said Nick Shaughnessy is the guilty party. And that's when he referred to his dad as father. Instantly.
Yep.
I said, he did it.
Well, Father never asked me to do that. Father didn't like when we did this. And then you go back to the 911 call and you hear Corey refer to Ted as Dad. They didn't call him Father.
Oh, whoa.
And
good
also,
call.
Jackie, it's mentioned that even Jackie called Ted Dad. Nobody was calling him Father.
You're right. Okay, that's funny because he says father, but he also says it twice back to back. He says two sentences that have father in it. And the second sentence he said was like a British robot.
It sounds like a religious zealot.
Yes.
Talking about the gospel or something. It sounds so brainwashed and crazy. I thought, oh, maybe Nick joined a cult. He wasn't actually talking about Ted. He was talking about God and that God spoke to him and told him to kill him. Like, that's how crazy it sounded.
I took it to College Station, and then Father wanted it back.
We have no idea where he may have put it or anything.
Father didn't tell me any intentions with it.
So now everything else looks guilty as f***. I go back to the 911 call. I'm balling for Corey, and now I'm laughing my ass off at his freaking responses. Because he goes, wait, what? Wait, what?
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Dad is dead. What?
But AC wasn't playing that game.
No.
You know, you want to do anything for your child. You believe they're innocent. And AC's like, yeah, if they're not an asshole, but your kid sucks.
Yeah, your kid sucks. He wants to be a day trader, okay?
He was trying to make a living day trading stocks.
It's weird that he was so quote-unquote passionate about it, but he didn't want to go do it at a company. He wanted to do it on his own. I think he probably watched Wolf of Wall Street and thought, I could be like that.
That's what I was waiting to say. I said that motherfucker watched Wolf of Wall Street and said, I want to be Jordan Belfort. I guarantee it.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Fugazi, it's fake.
Hey, Fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
Number 3 for worst children.
Ghostface wannabes.
This is from Secret at Black Rock Canyon, which I believe the secret was Keith had COVID.
Yeah, this is where they just had to kill her. They just had to. They needed to kill someone, and it just had to be Cassie. And there was no way they couldn't do it because they were filming themselves doing it. So it had to be done. It makes no sense. It just solidifies how much I don't like teenagers.
Okay.
They are terrifying.
Or sick psychopaths do not get pleasure of killing other people.
And it seems like some of them don't even have reasoning skills. Just like basic understanding of right and wrong.
Yeah. I feel like those aren't fully formed yet.
Fortunately, we have the grueling task of killing our 2 friends.
That is evil.
Yeah.
We're gonna be just like Scream.
Only this one was real.
Scream, yes.
Okay, and then number 4, last one of the category.
The Howards, episode 4.
There they are.
What's up with these Howards, huh? What's up with these Howards?
They're not murderers, but
you're right.
They are terrible.
And I was like, crap. Like, Dad, come on. Don't have affairs, you know?
That's a hard thing to hear.
Yeah, it is. It was, a punch in the gut, you know?
They were disappointed in him, but not enough.
Nope.
They let that go real quick because guess what? Cheating on your spouse is human.
It happens.
Okay? Killing is not human. So Nancy's in the hospital, like near death. She can't walk. She can't talk. The daughters, boy, how many times do you think they've told that dumb story about the sign language and putting on their spelling hats?
I thought it was sweet.
So she's over there like doing stuff with like the bottom of her hand, and I'm like, okay, she's spelling something. Crap, Brianna, what is that letter again? Yeah. And she beat her hand on the pillow to be like, no. And we're like, okay, put our spelling caps on.
The older daughter, Ashley, would not let AC finish a f***ing sentence.
That is true.
Your mom is in the hospital with a gunshot wound, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So
that must be the most bizarre phone call.
The weirdest phone call.
And this feels like a good point because we heard that, so we know that the daughters heard that phone call, and yet the kids of this poor woman are on the dad's side to this day.
So Frank is technically at this point a free man awaiting trial. He and Nancy get divorced, but it's mostly because of the cheating. And during this time, he walks his daughter down the aisle at her wedding, even after being accused of trying to murder Nancy. And I'm thinking, man, those kids must not like their mom that much.
Right?
And then Nancy said they actually had a good time at the wedding. She and Frank were cordial. Everything was fine.
And remember walking with him and saying, well, we ended up doing this together after all.
That trial started with her going, maybe Frank wasn't behind this.
Well, sure, because her daughters were on his side too. So he cheated on his wife, had a whole different family and a life in a different state, hired people to kill Nancy, and embezzled money. But his kids are still standing by him.
Yeah.
It was very special that he was able to do that.
The kids were begging their mom not to divorce their dad before the trial because those poor kids, they were worried about their dad. They thought that a divorce would reflect poorly on him in trial.
They sat on his side of the courtroom, behind him, while their mother, with one eye, is sitting alone on the other side of the courtroom. Heartbreaking.
Absolutely. So the daughters are there to testify on behalf of the defense, which is insane and bonkers, but this is the world they live in. And while Ashley, the older daughter, is up there, she makes a point of saying, because they're up there to talk about how great their dad is.
Character witnesses.
Ashley says that her dad has paid her mom on time every month for the alimony, and then that's what her mom will be surviving on for the future. Hey, guess how much money that alimony was, Kate?
I couldn't even begin to guess.
It was $200 a month. Can you live off $200 a month? What do you think? No. In the 2 years before the trial, Ashley discloses that her and her family and some friends stayed at their dad's Tahoe cottage.
Wow.
After all this went down, they went there and stayed. And in the book, Nancy is like, I don't know how she could sleep in the same bed that my husband did with that tramp or whatever. Like, they stayed there. And so this is what I think they're just cold-blooded gold diggers, and they think this is where the money's at.
Well,
could you imagine doing that?
I can't imagine doing it, but we also don't know how Frank is with them on the day-to-day.
They haven't sat down, they haven't gone to jail, sat behind that glass, picked up that phone, and talked to the same man that they've been talking to for the last 28 years.
I believe that. That is the character he plays of Dad. And she doesn't want to lose that. And I don't blame her for that.
And you can say all day long, oh, that poor girl, she just wants to support her dad. Let's be very clear. I think that justice needs to be served. I don't think it has been.
I'm trying to give some kind of human element to
these daughters.
We really don't know what their relationship is like. The way Dateline presents it, it is just cold-blooded. These girls chose a side and they don't care about their mom. And maybe that's true. But they might be seeing a very different version of Frank.
But I want to know what that version tells his daughters about his voice in the tapes, or all the money he gave to these people, or the fact that they knew that she stayed at the Gaylord Hotel for a scrapbooking event, and how if her friends had to die too, that was okay. And also there was a time where she was with her mother, and Frank said, well, if her mom's there too, then so be it.
Collateral damage.
What could this Frank, the father, possibly present to these kids to justify them siding with him? How do these kids operate? And then, that wedding. They had to get special permission for him to go to that wedding because of the restraining order or whatever. And then during the trial, the kids testified Mom wanted to dance with Frank.
I believe that, actually.
In the book, Nancy says that she asked them, do they want her and her dad to have a dance? Because it's a wedding. Because she wanted it to be just like their other daughter's wedding. She just asked, do you want me to dance with your dad? And then they spin that in court as saying that she wanted to dance with Dad, as if she's not really mad at him. How about that?
That's manipulative.
I couldn't hate these kids more. And I would like to say that Ashley Howard, that oldest daughter, is the most unlikable person to ever be on Dateline outside of the person that was committing the crime. Am I right or wrong?
I'm sorry, what?
That is quite the statement.
Can you name any other victim or victim family member that you've had less sympathy for? I mean, she drives me nuts. You want to take any guesses on who won this one?
Well, it won't be the Howards because they're not murderers.
Okay, she's sniffing it out. Okay, keep talking.
I think it's gonna be the day trader.
Nailed it!
And the winner is the day trader.
Nick Shaughnessy. Day trading, murdering, setting up ring cams, and telling the cops about it. And how can we forget his biggest offense, Kateline? The hop heard around the world, right?
Oh, the hop. Yeah.
The hop.
Lock him up just for that.
Yeah. Now, the Howards. We're having fun with the Howards. The origin of it was you suggested they be in Worst Children. And I was like, we can't do that because the other ones are murderers. But then I was like, yeah, but they just won't win, right? I think it's still fun. They were nominated, okay? Hey, I can't help it.
It wasn't up to you whether or not they win. That's up to the voters.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, winner, the day trader. We'll send like a paper Lesty to the prison to slide it under there when he's at the glass saying, I'm sorry. Category 4.
Best Wingman.
We got
Kim.
First one up.
The Best Man, episode 48.
You remember this turd? Remember the best man? Actually, maybe it'll help if I tell you his probable prison name, DJ Awesome number 2. Does that help out at all?
That does. But was he the wingman or was that other guy the wingman?
No, Adrian was the wingman because he was his literal number 2, and he's the one who did the murder. He's the one who's getting his hands dirty on behalf of what's-his-nuts, DJ Awesome 1.
Right.
And when you think of wingman, I mean, he was a literal best man in their wedding, so like the person he ended up killing 5 years later or whatever.
What a guy.
So the cops are looking into the phone records of DJ Awesome.
Megan, may we have an Awesome Blossom, please? Extra awesome.
And they catch wind of this guy named Adrian Harley, which DJ Awesome has not mentioned once. This is now like a week after the murder or whatever. No mention of this guy. It turns out Adrian Harley does know DJ Awesome. He knows him pretty good.
They have been friends since childhood. Adrian is also the godfather to one of their kids, and he's basically his bitch boy. He does...
Well, wait, he's also the best man at his wedding?
Best man at his wedding, but when it comes to working at the club, he's the guy who does all of the dirty work for him. So he collects the money. Anybody who wants to get to DJ Awesome has to go through Adrian. It's so dumb. And you can tell they interview lots of people who work at the club. I think Adrian specifically, though, was very dumb.
Yep.
This is wrong. Y'all believe wrong on this.
He just seemed a little, what's the right word here?
The house mother calls them both nerds.
They seemed like two nerds.
Two nerds.
But Andre was the hipper nerd. Adrian was the quiet one, the follower.
Like, they talk about how they're freaking goobers. And when he comes in, he says, he goes to Glover and he says, hey, come here real quick, dude. You're not going to believe this. I know you're arresting me right now, but not 2 hours ago, my former best friend, Adrian, told me that he killed my wife because she accused him of stealing money. Hey, I'm just the messenger here, but it sounds like Adrian did it.
He'd confessed to it at the club just hours before.
He said, listen, I killed your wife. And I said, what the are you talking about? Are you insane?
Did you ask him why he killed your wife?
He turns on his friend instantly.
And the cops are not buying it.
No, not for a second.
They're like, yeah, we know Adrian killed your wife on your behalf.
What a guy. Ooh, okay, this is actually a great time for us to pause to do a little segment I like to call Confessional. And it's actually about that episode, 48 Sound and Fury. Listeners, Kateline, I like to have a journalistic integrity as the editor of this pod, and I like to only deal with facts. But there was one edit in that episode where I switched the name so that it would make sense better as a joke to people who haven't seen the episode, okay? Because they ask, friggin' Goski asks if DJ Awesome looked up to Adrian. Or no, the other way around.
Did Adrian kind of look up to Andre?
Yeah, he had to.
I flipped it because DJ Awesome is short.
Did Andre kind of look up to Adrian?
Yeah, he had to.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, look, this is what Professional is, Caitlin. Doesn't have to be entertaining. I'm just telling you the facts. I did a little switch in a lie in a sound up. What do you think? You gonna forgive me for that?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't tell you that you're the decider in Professional.
Yeah.
You're the one who decides.
I didn't realize
I get to watch that sin away or not.
I didn't realize I was in these. I thought this was a pop 2 that you're gonna do.
No.
I'm in this confessional booth with you. You're confessing to me. I'm the priest.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird you didn't notice them lower the thing over us here on stage, but that's the premise. Dear Kateline, what do I got to do? Like, go watch 10 Datelines or what? You going to forgive me for this one?
You're forgiven.
Woo! Okay. Nominee number 3. For Best Wingman.
The Magician's Assistant, episode 35.
What's that make you think about, Kateline? Magician's Assistant from episode 35, Death at the Spa, about our girl Ildiko. There's not a Lesty for best name, but if we had done one, she'd be up there.
Definitely.
The Magician's Assistant. Do you remember who that was?
Oh, it's the woman who J-Mank was being real kind of mean to.
Valerie. Remember Valerie?
Yes. We felt so bad for her.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like I got to give her something here, because she was so blindly supportive of Stephen Beale, that turd of a man who was acting in 12 Angry Jurors. And his daughter said it was poignant, and J-Mank's like, you're wrong, think again. And then later, J-Mank's telling Valerie, I'm sorry, but... He was like, remember how roast mode he was? Okay.
He was. He was in roast mode for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about Valerie, because this poor girl, we see her at 2 points in her life, both of which are rock bottom.
Valerie, I understand Valerie. I understand that she, even though he was arrested 1 month into their relationship, she stood by him because I get it. I've been on those apps. I've been on those sites.
Yeah.
It's pretty bleak. And she found a nice guy who treats her well and makes her feel special. She said, yeah, he's probably innocent and has been wrongly accused. I'm going to stick by him. It's just that she continues to stick by him despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Can we talk about Valerie?
Yeah, Valerie.
Oh, Valerie. I just wanted to shake her. Like, why are you staying with him?
Valerie is a tragic figure, and I feel for her so much because I feel like she's a good sport about it. Even like J-Mank's putting on the charm with her, that J-Mank charm was like, hey, I'm J-Mank. And she's kind of like, we've seen it before where the ladies in a talking head will flirt with J-Mank. Mm-hmm. And we're like, we get it, girls. And Valerie was wanting the same kind of fun, but J-Mank was not here for it tonight, Kateline. He was not having it with Valerie because he's so not into her sticking around.
Right. Yeah, he did not agree with her choices. Let's just say that.
When we first meet her introduction, J-Mank's VO is something like, some people find love, and some people don't. Like Valerie here.
Listen, I felt bad for her by the end of this. He was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
He was brutal to her. And to the point where I even said out loud, bro, take it easy.
Yeah, I'll tell you when, foolish part.
Now, maybe that sounds like I'm desperate.
Desperate's not where I was going. Foolish might be where I was going.
Okay.
Because that point is the point where a lot of people might think to themselves, this is where I get off the Stephen Beale Express.
Yeah.
And here you are.
He was spicy in other times as well. Like when he reads to her face texts that Stephen wrote to Ildiko while they were together.
Those were texts Valerie hadn't seen. What came next wasn't pleasant for either of us.
He's like, so you still love Stephen? And she says so. And he's like, you still believe that, huh? Okay. And then he reads to her some texts from Stephen to Ildiko when they were supposedly broken up that are all like lovey-dovey and like, I love you, I want to build a world with you. Mm-hmm. Basically proving to her on television that Stephen's a lying right?
You are the woman that I've always dreamed of. I will love you forever. That was on April 22nd of 2018.
Oh, wow.
April 28th, he texts Ildiko, I'm also missing you.
That's a pretty mortifying way to receive that news.
And she tries to do her best to roll with it, and she can't. I mean, she gets teary.
She's like, that gives me something to think about.
Wow. That kind of makes me feel right now.
I'm sorry about that.
I really wanted to give her a hug right then and go, J-Mate, cut!
I know.
And the last one for this category of Best Wingman of Season 1 of ILH.
The List Giver, Episode 1.
Who do you think this is? What do you think, Kate?
It's our girl, Kim.
Yup.
Y'all were wrong on that.
You nailed it. Friggin' nailed it. You were right on that.
So the wife, Kim, Eric's wife, they arrest her.
Yeah.
Kim Williams pleaded guilty to the murder of Mark Hasse.
And then put her on the stand. I like how they tried to make a big deal out of the fact that after the second murder, they went home to grill steaks.
How could you even celebrate Easter
I didn't eat that weekend. I was so sick, but he did. This is wrong. Y'all were told wrong. Y'all believe wrong on this.
And what did she say about her kick-ass list? It wasn't a hit list. It was just her kick-ass list.
Kim acknowledges that she had what she called Kim's kick-ass list. She says it was a list of names from an online Facebook game.
I'm not a shooter. I'm not even a good shot.
So what does that mean? Is she playing like Farmville and she's like listing characters?
She's absolutely playing Farmville, and they tried to make it seem like that was her murder hit list.
Well, she did call it Kim's kick-ass list.
We've all made a kick-ass list.
Now let's see if you're right on who won. So we got Best Wingman, the Patsy. Oh, I didn't talk about the Patsy yet. The Patsy, last nominee. Or did I say that one? No, I didn't. The Patsy.
The Patsy.
This is actually also from Ghost Can't Talk, and our Worst Children Award is his poor friend Spencer. You remember this sap?
Oh, I do.
He needs money to pay for school and stuff. And then remember he gave him a gun that was the exact gun that was used in the murder, but not the one in the murder. Like it was another 380 or whatever. This guy.
Mm-hmm.
We find out about the 8 mil from, I almost want to say honorary all-star because I feel so bad for this sucker. But old Spencer. Poor Spencer.
Oh, Spencer.
Nick's best friend, Spence. Was he a friend just to blame him for stuff? Or did this just fall into Nick's lap? He sets this guy up to take the murder. He sets him up hard.
I think that this was fully intentional because at one point, Corey says, Nick never had any friends. So now all of a sudden he's got a couple friends? Where'd they come from?
Yeah.
They were chosen.
Yeah.
He found the most vulnerable, naive people he could find to get them to do his bidding.
So out of these 4, who do you think the winner is? Is it the Patsy? Spencer. Is it the Best Man? DJ Awesome 2. Is it the Magician's Assistant? Valerie. Or is it the List Giver?
It's gotta be Kim.
That's easy peasy. It's gotta be Kim.
And the winner is the List Giver.
She's hands down the best wingman. Are you kidding me? She will go to trial, testify against you, but it's going to sound like she's testifying for you. Oh, you know, it's funny. So that is from episode 1 of our season. That was our very first ep. But that Dateline is from season 31. But check this out. Episode 1 of ILH, Bad Intentions. Episode 50 of ILH, Dark Intentions. Isn't that kind of funny?
A lot of intentions.
All right, moving on. Now this one, I'll let you decide how many nominees we have for this one, okay? This is
the Goodest Boy Award.
So before we pick a winner, Kateline, how many nominees do you think we got in this category?
Well, at least one.
Yeah? Do you remember that pup's name?
Blue.
Blue, episode 23.
There was one cop in particular, him and his dog. They even said his name, and I wrote it down. Let's give that cute dog a little shout out here. John Malia and Blue. Dog's name was Blue. They're out there searching for 6 months, and Blue out the window. I'm like, Blue's gonna find them bodies, okay? Blue is on it. Blue is on the case.
Blue's the all-star.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, you're right, okay?
You're my boy, Blue!
Because old Blue keeps going and finds a 4th set of remains, giving us the Gilgo 4. This was a wild day for Blue, huh?
It was.
And the winner for Goodest Boy goes to Blue, the cadaver dog.
Now, Blue couldn't be here tonight. All right? They're working. They're on the clock. John Malia and Blue. Mrs. C is going to accept the Lesty on behalf of Blue. Is that okay?
Thank you, Mrs. C.
Yep. All right. Moving on. So, okay. Ooh. Now, you're going to answer this one, but, I mean, I don't know if you brought your crony along for number 6 tonight at the 2024 Lesty Awards.
Shittiest vehicle.
Eh? So what's up? Is Car Kate going to do this, or Kateline going to do it on behalf of Car Kate? What's the scoop?
Everybody, let's welcome Car Kate to the stage. Okay.
Car Kate, what up?
Car Kate here. Lot of hideous cars this season.
Yeah, we got 5 nominees here, but you could make the argument that there should be like 40 nominees because there's almost always a car that plays a big part.
And there's never been a attractive car. It's always a up car.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like Drunk Frosty's Monte Carlo. He had like this boat of a car. But you're right. None of these are really awesome cars, really. There's something funny about them that makes them memorable. So, like a lot of times, don't be using it in a murder. Number 1 on the nominees.
The Shrek Wagon, episode 23.
The Chevy Avalanche.
Ding, ding, ding. For old sexy Rexy himself. Woo-wee.
That car is really bad. Even I see it around all the time. People still own that car for some reason. And it was never an attractive car. I remember people roasting it when it was brand new.
Yeah. And when I was looking at pictures of it from the Dateline, there's so much junk in the back cab area that's nothing, I feel. Like there's a lot of fake bars and stuff.
It's all for show.
Now that was from episode 23, The Gilgo Beach Killer, the old Shrek wagon. A car so ugly that it helps solve a murder. Is that safe to say, Carcade?
Multiple murders.
Yeah, and they were still coming too. We had an update a few episodes after. They found 2 more bodies.
Blue is still out there.
Yeah, Blue's still out there sniffing, saying there's a body out here, I'm on it. These nostrils were on the case. Good old Blue. Man, I wish Blue was here. If Blue was here right now, I'd be in line taking pictures with Blue. And I'd be saying, Kateline, hold the camera. And you'd be like, I can't step out of the shadows. Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2.
Trimmed Out Truck.
Episode 41. What am I talking about with the trimmed out truck?
That was a white F-150, I believe. It had some extra decals, some weird window trim, just an all-around ugly redneck-looking car, which I did see it. I saw it. Where was I? I was in Texas, I think, when I saw that car. Same trim package.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, I love an old F-150 like a lot of people, but it was a tiny truck.
It was tiny. It almost looked like what a Ford Ranger looks like, but it was technically an F-150. It was just so old, back when trucks were smaller.
Yeah.
And the trim, it's just sloppy and too much going on. And this was another My Cousin Vinny situation.
So good.
Where
so good.
He remembered that truck because it was a very specific F-150 with aftermarket trim. Mm-hmm. He was a trucker, so he knew cars, he knew trucks.
What I love so much about this nominee, and I say thanks Holtheads for the voting to get this one in there, because it's not as flashy as some of our nominees. It's just a trimmed out truck. But if you remember, the person that was driving that truck was one of the greatest. We know who the killer is in this episode because you showed us that picture. Do you remember her?
Yes. Not only did we know from that picture, but we could tell immediately that it was a woman. And they were trying to pretend like you couldn't tell.
Yeah. This was a classic Murphdog. Oh my God. They did like a diagram of stills. It's like, hey, just play the video. We'll see what you're talking about. And I think they were thinking, yeah, you can't really see it. We really talked ourselves into a corner here. A big part of this episode is this walk. So this lady had her drop the mic moment because those cops were trying to bully her and her dumb son Steven was trying to bully her. It didn't work. She says, well, tell me whenever you're done with your little tests. Until then,
mic drop, walks out,
sways out of there.
Oh, you think it looks like me?
Yep. Mom, no, Mom, seriously, tell me, Mom. No, Steven. Okay, I believe you. So then the cops finally convince her to come on down to the station and talk to them. And here, they're rolling their sleeves up. They think, she's in our territory now. We're gonna own this woman. But what happens, Kayla?
She stonewalls them. She's sassing them.
Sassafras,
she's
left
like
and right.
Playing chicken with them.
Oh!
She's like leaning in, all intimidating. Like, what? Say it to my face.
Yes.
I don't even care.
What the two of them do is none of my business.
This is the part that I may have stood up and clapped for, okay? Because her performance with these cops. Now, again, I'm not happy with her. She's a murderer, okay? So I'm not like on Team Joanna over here. But when it comes to Team Murder Suspect and Team Cops who just keep saying, that's your mom, that's your mom, that's your mom, that's your mom. I loved them going head to head in this app. Her drop the mic was the best drop the mic I think I've ever seen from an interrogation. Kateline, have you ever seen a better drop the mic moment in an interrogation? Because they go...
What was the drop the mic moment?
They're showing her the stills, right? And those idiots showed her the f***ing police sketch. Why would they show her that? That's clear you guys don't have Jack, right?
Yeah.
So they're showing the pictures, and her reaction is, oh, you think that's me? Okay. And she's stonewalling, right? And then they come out with the big guns, and they say, your son accused you. And she goes, God, he might need glasses. And then their reaction is like the room deflated, because they're like, uh-oh, she's got the upper hand. She ain't cracking.
I don't know, maybe we need to go get his glasses.
It was as though the oxygen left the room.
And so they're telling her, they're going, look, you don't know this, but blood sticks around in trucks for a long time, okay? You may have think that you clean your truck, but there's probably some blood in there, and we're going to find it. And she takes a little piece of paper, throws it in front of them, gets up and goes, all right, well, let me know when you're done with all your little tests with the truck and the blood, but until then, I'm leaving.
Well, like I said, when you get your little blood and whatever you're going to find in the truck, let me know. Until then.
Okay.
And she walked out of the room.
Woo! That's good, huh?
Yeah.
She was cocky as hell.
Yeah, that is a big swinging dick right there.
Number 3.
The Segway Sweeper, Episode 1.
Now, this is an easy one. You know what this one's from, Car Kate.
It's not technically a car, but it is a moving vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, it counts.
It counts. And it's the Segway from our very first episode, once again.
Yeah. It's like Eric Williams just showed up on it in the news, and he posed for them.
Oh, yeah. He thought he looked really cool. I don't know, was this all a ploy just to get people to film him on his Segway?
Oh my God, the Segway. AC was roasting him, though.
She goes,
He strangely swept in on his Segway.
Yeah. What was he thinking? What was he thinking?
He was thinking, look how cool I am.
When he rolled up with that first little flyby, I mean, he was pleased as punch, cruising by on his Segway. He thought he looked very cool.
Oh yeah, do you think he was like, hey, for my B-roll here, will you get a shot of me speeding off? Let me really open her up on the cul-de-sac?
And you know, those producers are like, sure, dude, absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
He also had enough money to purchase the monitors himself, considering he had the money for a Segway. Those aren't cheap.
You know what? That's a great point. It was $600 worth of monitors, and he's cruising around on a Segway.
Yeah.
I feel like he feels like people who are driving around in a Cybertruck right now. What do you think?
It's a similar...
Are you pro? You're not pro Cybertruck, right?
Kurt, why would I be pro Cybertruck?
Okay, look, you just know that you're a mystery and an enigma. So I would believe. Here's the thing: if you liked it, I'd hear you out and want to know what your thoughts are, Kateline. And I feel like the Segway was an earlier version of that, where everybody's looking at you because you look funny. Mm-hmm. We don't think the thing you're on is cool. You think it's cool. We don't. We don't think that.
Yeah, I mean, when did Job roll up on the Segway? That was...
Oh, yeah. 03?
Like 20 years ago, and it was lame then.
Yeah, that was... Oh, what a great character choice for Job and stuff. And what a great burn. I mean, it cements it in the early 2000s, but that is... Like, the Segway joke is still being made. I mean, Paul Blart tried to have fun with it twice, right?
Wait, what do you mean tried?
So... Okay, he had a few hits. Many misses. There were some hits in there on the Segway, so I'll give you that.
I won't defend the Cybertruck, but you know I will defend my boy, Paul Blart.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
Always bet on Blart.
Number 4 for shittiest vehicle.
Jacob Dylan Jalopy, Episode 48.
Do you remember the Jacob Dylan Jalopy?
Yes, it was a black Infinity with one headlight.
Cue the tune.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tell us about this car. This was actually your introduction. This car was so awful that you were like, I gotta make this a regular segment on the show. Like on the poster for this, we said, introducing Car Kate.
It's not that it was awful, because Infinities are nice, and I'm sure, aside from the headlight being out, it was probably in pretty good shape. But it was the point where I just realized there are enough episodes with cars in them that are a significant part of the case that they really should be a category on my list. And this car, while not as funny as the other nominees, it did pretty much immediately solve that case.
Yeah, and it was pretty funny because he had to do it's an Infinity with one headlight out, and this dope takes it on a murder. Like, I mean, think about how awful security cam footage is of cars. But like, if the light is out, it doesn't matter how shitty the quality is on that video. Like, that's proof positive.
But don't forget, Car Kate, Could still tell what kind of car it was just based on those rear brake lights.
That was impressive. And number 5 in this category, last nominee.
Smallest hearse in history, episode 46.
What are we talking about here, Carcate?
This was John Smith's Corvette and that little...
Chameleon. That sex pot John Smith.
He built that little coffin box and was riding around in that vet with it.
Yeah. Do you know what he was driving at that time?
No.
A souped-up black Corvette.
Okay.
And now we know why it was such a box and why he built it in the dimensions that he did. Because guess what fits exactly in that black Corvette but a 4x2 by 18-inch box?
Michael said John put the coffin in his black Corvette and drove away.
And now you're thinking, how do you know where's the car? Guess what? The guy who bought it 20 years ago is a collector. It's been driven like 5 times. It was in a garage sitting immaculately. You could see in there, they presented this at trial, there were scrape marks that would correspond with the box. So he built that box specifically, those dimensions, to fit in his Corvette.
So he could drive around with her in his car all the time.
And boy, I really didn't. Karke, I don't know if you were watching earlier, so I guess it doesn't matter, this segment's already happening again, but it's time for another Kurtfessional. Wait, I'm curious, do you have any idea what I'm about to say right now or no?
No, go ahead, my child.
Oh my God, I hate that. I love it. That's really funny. Now, a few times on this show, I'll say something that I would never imagine it's like offensive or in poor taste. And sometimes when Kate reacts, I can kind of tell, maybe I should rethink this one. Now, all of them, when I rethink, I say, no, this is gold. Keep talking about this Kurt forever and ever and ever. And the first one of that is when I suggested that inmates should be able to give their hair follicles to people on the outside. I still support that idea. You were kind of grossed out by it. What do you think? What are you thinking now? This is not the Kurtfessional, because I'm not confessing to shit on this one, because I think it's a $1 billion idea, and I'd be the first customer. I say, give me those follicles. What do you think?
I'm still grossed out by that.
Okay. Now, I hear that and I accept it, but I have no concern about removing it from the app. But the Kurtfessional, I said a fact that I was thrilled about, and you were instantly disgusted. And this is the one that made me really rethink it of like, am I a monster? Because I'm just fascinated by this, and I don't think it's offensive. Do you remember what word I'm talking about?
No.
Glop. Liquefied body.
Oh.
Glop.
Yeah. Didn't you cut that out?
So, okay, so here's where the Kurtfessional comes in. Now, sometimes we have an edit that has no revisions, and sometimes we have an edit or an episode that has like 10 revisions, and that was the one that had the most. And I cut a version where I removed it, and I even took out the cool word kerf, because I was just like, is that weird? I don't know. Because I had asked you about it. We had talked about it in the episode, and then I'm there editing it, and I said, hey, Kateline, would it be inappropriate if I had glop dripping out of this coffin in this car right now? And you immediately said, don't do that. And I was like, oh God, take it out, Kurt, never bring it up again. Now here, fast forward months, I'm listening to the episodes, what do I hear? Friggin' glop! So while we're learning all these terms, here are some cool things I learned in the book. When a body liquefies, that's called glop. Isn't that cool? Okay.
That seems very insensitive.
Hey, that's the stuff in the box. That's what's in there. That's glop.
Wow.
I must not have uploaded the most recent revision. So talking about glop is out there. That's the confession in the Kurtfessional, is I said I cut it to you because I believed I did. But now it's been out so long, and it's too late to replace it. Karke, do you forgive me?
3 Hail Marys, and I'll send you on your way.
Now, I've got a giant question mark next to all these shitty vehicles because the listeners don't get to pick. I don't get to pick. The only person qualified to pick the winner of this vehicle is Karke herself. So here are the nominees again. We got the Shrek Wagon, the Chevy Avalanche. Trimmed out truck, Deadly Swap Lady. Number 3, the Segway Sweeper. Number 4, Jacob Dylan Jalopy. And number 5, smallest hearse in history. Categories voted on by the Holtheads, but winner not picked by the Holtheads. Karke, what's it going to be?
That's going to be the Shrek Wagon.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good pick. Yeah, I mean, I feel like most of these have a good argument for why they would be the one, but you laid it down right there. The Shrek Wagon is the winner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now category 7. Karke, go ahead and, I don't know what you do in your spare time, like put that turtle wax on your headlights or something. Is that something Karke does?
Yeah, I'm gonna go out to the parking lot and rotate my tires.
Okay, good. Kateline, get back in there. This category is a Kurt Money special. Number 7.
Deputy Dingus Supreme.
We're picking it now, folks.
This is going to be a challenging one.
Yeah, this one is, I feel, far too early to remember, but we'll see.
Detective B-roll reenactor. Episode 6.
Do you remember this stooge? This Deputy Dingus, and why he's such a dingus?
It sounds familiar.
It's a little bit of a deep cut. He was a dingus because this was with the lady's Bonnie Haim when her skull was in the yard the whole time. She never left. And how Aaron, the son, lived there and found the skull and thought it was a coconut.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, it's Mom's skull. One of our earliest topics we talked about is how you refuse to watch shows with reenactments because you think they're super lame. And I pointed out to you, well, watch this stooge. Because not only Dateline do B-roll reenactments, they played themselves and had lines and stuff.
Right.
Remember, they do a little pan of him with Aaron going, I just want you to know how much you meant to me and stuff. Get out of here, Dateline. You're better than this.
Yeah, that sucked.
I don't like this detective. I think he's a dum-dum. But on there, they had him call him Robert. But now he's Robbie. So he loosened up in his old age. I don't know. Detective Robbie stays friends with the family. There's photos of him with Aaron when he was 8.
Which is good. He had great father figures in his life. He had a good support system.
This is where I start to lose my mind. And at trial is when we find out a little tidbit that happened 3 years after Bonnie went missing, a.k.a. got murdered.
An anonymous letter was sent saying the body is buried in the backyard.
So as a result of that anonymous letter, do they come back again with backhoes and look?
They don't.
They still have this letter. We saw the letter. We saw the envelope that it was sent in this Dateline episode.
And nobody followed up.
This is my problem. This Detective Robbie, who's so in love with this kid, and is, I'm doing the best I can. I'm sorry, because, okay, this is what sets me off. All it would have taken was for one person to just drive by the house. Nobody did anything. If they had driven by the house, my theory is that they would have seen a pool getting installed. Am I wrong?
They definitely would have seen some fresh dug earth.
But the pool wasn't there. So I'm going, well, this is so easy. If they look at when the pool was installed, that's probably when he buried the body, right? Or that's clearly something you can present to trial, that he put a pool in over her body. I'm so mad about this tip. I'm mad at Murphdog for just saying that and then moving on. I need to know more about this. Okay.
You're mad at everybody.
I am. I found the address of this house. It's 2439 Dolphin Ave. I wanted to look up when that pool and outdoor shower were installed, because you can find out.
If it was up to code, if they did it with permits through the city.
Right. I found out where those property records are, and you can look at there and it says pool and then it's gone and stuff. But I feel like you can prove when he put the body in there. I don't know why nobody gives it.
Well, I guess they don't care when he put it in, because they just know that that's where it was. What would the importance be of knowing when?
Because I feel like a lot of times cops and detectives will want as much proof as they can have, because in case something falls through or there's an appeal. And also it'd be a chance for them to maybe correct a wrong that he didn't do a damn thing about it in 96.
The accomplice would have been the one to send that letter.
Exactly! So if they could find out who helped him install that pool, they'd know who the person was. Do you see why I'm upset? Do you get it? I feel like there's answers available, but they don't care.
I guess they don't care because he's locked up, but...
You've got to agree with this, because you are known the world over as despising reenactments, are you not?
Can't watch them. Will not watch a show with reenactments.
Okay, you watched one with this episode, because they had Detective Robbie and Aaron recreate a talk they had about telling him how important he was in his life. And they actually had them mic'd, and we heard Detective Robbie say the fake line. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is below Dateline. This is pathetic.
Yes, but it was the real people doing it, not actors reenacting it. So it was more like a recounting rather than a reenact.
But,
Also, it was very much stuff they would say to each other at any time. It wasn't necessarily what they had said at that one moment.
Well, I'm going to play it right now in clip form, and it is a statement that's you say to somebody before they're going to die, you're never going to see him again. It was a conversation like that. Yeah.
I don't think you realized how much you meant to me through the years.
Okay, this one, when I was refreshing on this morning, I said, I can't even figure out what this one is.
Detective Too Cool for School, episode 24.
So let me look up what episode this is from, because I do not get it.
Then why is it a nominee?
Well, Kate, the name is good, so it's there for a reason for sure. Okay, so just hang on one second. Future Kurt here to just friggin' put Kateline in her place. She asked, why is it nominated if you can't remember it? Well, I did remember it after we were done recording, and Detective Too Cool for School, because he said he didn't like going on shows like Dateline because it like glorifies murder as entertainment or whatever. Remember that, dude?
I've always refused these.
How come?
I just didn't feel like murder was entertainment or should be entertainment. That's the best way I could describe it. So
yeah, I mean, even though we forgot about him in the moment, dude sucks and is a dingus supreme. Anyway, Future Kurt here to say it's a nominee that needs to stick around. And also, if you cannot tell, this is when Kateline gets a little... Kateline is checking her watch. I think she was dying to hang out with Val Vaughn after the show. They had some plans, so I can't blame her. Anyway, back to the show. Number 3.
VBPD, the Van Buren Poop Department, episode 42.
This one I'm proud of. Van Buren Poop Department. A police department so awful that they refused to be on Dateline, and Dateline didn't even say the names of the detectives. Remember Lindsay Turner finding Egypt's killer and how they were like, we've pretty much done it. And she's like, what do you mean pretty much? Here's a problem with these dinguses over at Van Buren Police Department, okay? Dwayne and Lindsay are being like, why can't you do this? Have you done this? And they're like, we've pretty much cleared them. And Lindsay's like, what does pretty much mean?
We can pretty much prove they were there.
Wait, what do you mean pretty much?
Okay, listen, I'm not going to get...
No, what do you mean pretty much prove? We want to know that you can prove. That's all I wanted to get, that you didn't go through their phone. So you haven't fully... I know, I'm tough.
And I love that this was recorded, okay? Because this to me is what's wrong. Am I right?
Yeah, and it wasn't good enough for Lindsay either, because she starts pressing and
they get fucking butthurt, don't
they get butthurt, and they're like, hey, don't come in here and tell me that I don't know how to do my job. And she's like, oh my God, you're getting defensive.
Okay, bring me something I can use instead of telling me I'm not doing my job properly, and I'll be a much better person with you.
Well, yes, and now that delivery right there, if these cops had been doing their job, I would have felt for them, because that would frustrate me. But again, Lindsay ends up being right in this whole thing, and these cops suck. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like that she said it like that. You remember these guys?
I do. They didn't look up the cell phones that were pinging in the area on the day of the murder because they were from out of town. So they thought, well, whoever murdered her couldn't have been from out of town. They couldn't possibly have an area code in their phone number that's not local.
Never mind that exact area code from out of town. We geofenced it, and it's literally inside Egypt's house. But that's not a lead to us. Do you remember that?
No.
But they got this cell phone data like the week of the murder. When the good detectives got it, they didn't request it. It had already been requested. These fucking idiots didn't even look at it. So, Van Buren Poop Department. Next up.
Detective Scrub, episode 25.
Detective Scrub. Do you remember Detective Scrub?
Was that his real name?
Nah, close. His real name, the name his mother gave him, Detective Grubb. But I think he sucks because he's wasting his hair on a buzz cut that's too long. And he was so stupid in the clearing with Matt Moore. This is the guy that was saying, why wouldn't you go look for her? What, do you really think that someone would walk out to those woods and make their bed first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When people get up in the morning, a lot of times they make their bed first.
He was on Dateline really defending it, and I was not here for it. And that's why he's a nominee. So, Deputy Dingus, Detective Grubbs, the grade A asshole that I did not care for. His shining moment was when he was reading his list of things that he's done for this case, as if we're supposed to be impressed. Like, he had a checklist of things that he had done, and he was like,
11:20 a.m. Search the area underneath the bridge on Polaris, just west of Cleveland Avenue.
It's like, dude, you want a pat on the back for doing your job? All he did was name 3 places he went. That's half a day of work!
Dingus.
Deputy Dingus. Grubbs also told us, don't be afraid to go back to somewhere where you've already been. To which I said, maybe that's because Grubbs had the body, and he went and put it there, and now he wants someone else to find it. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Hey, if Grubbs can accuse Matt of being a cold-blooded killer, I can accuse him. Grubbs, you did it. Now, much like the dingus vehicle category, I might have had 40 dinguses this season. Maybe not 40, but we've had more dinguses than not. I think that's fair to say. Mm-hmm. You agree with that?
Definitely. When have we had, it's been so rare that we've had a Val Vaughn.
Yeah. And that one we are across the board supportive of, because even Detective Slaughter, do you remember Detective Slaughter? With Drunk Frosty, he cried, but he was crying because it was cop on cop.
Yes.
Like, even that was like, dude, what? Dude, what? Okay, and final nominee.
Detective Doing What Cops Do Best, Episode 7.
You remember this guy? Hey, so we just did what we do best. Found clues or whatever. From Streets of Laredo, that loser serial killer that would shoot women in the back. This will ring a bell. David Ortiz! Nothing. That's okay. Well, that's a nominee.
And the winner is Van Buren Poop Department.
A department so bad that they're not going to let you know their name. Here's your Lesty. Now, keep walking. All right. Now, this one's good. Oh, wait. You know what? I think we should go to a commercial.
We'll be right back after this message from our sponsor.
The 2024 Lesty Awards are sponsored by Pib Extra.
So I'm out there shooting hoops with my crew, and I just nailed this jumper right over Kateline. But she don't care. She's going on and on about how much she loves Pib Extra or something.
I love Mr. Pib. I love Pib Extra.
And I'm not impressed because, again, I'm over here doing some Pistol Pete shit with a basketball. That's when one of my boys steps up and says, dudes, did you know that Mr. Pibb and Pib Extra are the same thing? Straight up. Mr. Pibb became Pib Extra like 20 years ago. It was like a new Coke scenario, but they stuck with it. Huh. Now that's extreme.
Pib Extra. A little extra makes all the difference.
And it tastes good.
Welcome back to the Lestys. Still got a packed house, quiet. Seat AA22 is empty still, but we're loving it. Everybody's having fun. Caitlin, did you get some popcorn or anything while you're back there when Carcate was here?
No, I don't want to eat anything that might mess with my speaking voice.
Do you have a routine you do before you talk in public, or
vocal warm-ups?
What do you do before you hop on the show? You do like a little me,
little me, a little.
And the nominees are...
Okay, next category. Most revealing Kateline Mome.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What do you think is in this category? I mean, is it tough to talk about?
It's got to be stuff that hints at where I'm from, or jobs that I've had, or just some moments where I may have gone too far into letting the people know something about my life.
Too far. Okay. And here are 7 nominees of perfect examples.
7?
Of when Kateline... Yeah, 7. Okay, number 1.
Besties with Alfie Moe and T-Daltz, episode 30.
What's that?
Alfred Molina and Timothy Dalton, who, yes, I have met.
You won't tell us where or what set, if it's a set at all. It might have been in a bank or doctor's office. You're not telling. But we do know that you are friends with Alfred Molina and Timothy Dalton.
I wouldn't say friends.
Well, unless you give us more information, we're going to run with you guys are besties.
I think I said that I had met them, but...
You know, Kateline, here's the tough thing. Without more context, I can't really get a feel on whether or not you're just friends or you're being modest. So we're going to roll with that you're besties with these dudes.
Freedom Field Feels, episode 34.
Yes.
Your story about where you were on 9/11.
Sitting in a field with my dad.
Yeah.
As jets scrambled overhead.
Yeah, that one is funny. Number 3.
$1,000 Trek Suit, episode 12.
I did pay $1,000 for a screen-accurate Star Trek Voyager costume.
Listeners, I've actually seen it. You will never see it ever, ever, ever. It's pretty top-notch, high-qual costume. It looks like a $1,000 costume, I'll say that.
It's actually better quality than the actual uniforms worn by the actors.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny, because it's built to wear.
Yes.
Like, are the set clothes flimsy?
The set clothes they're a thinner polyester, and they're also a one-piece, a jumpsuit.
Oh.
And the one that I have is a 2-piece, much thicker material. And I guess it's supposed to, I forget how they were saying it. On the show, they wear the jumpsuits, but sometimes they're seen with just pants and the undershirt on, which implies that it's not a jumpsuit, that it's actually two pieces. But because it looks better, they wore jumpsuits. And this, I think, was because of what happened with Patrick Stewart in TNG, where he kept having to tug at his shirt.
Yes.
Because it was a two-piece and it was riding up and it was kind of weird. So they were like, all right, we're doing jumpsuits. It's more streamlined.
Wait, was that like a meme thing? Like, did I see...
It was.
Is that something he did on the show a bunch?
Yes.
I love it. I love that you know all those details and you know what the show is made of and when it stopped or when it started, because that is just pure passion right there. And actually, speaking of passion and movies and stuff, you've been out of town forever, but I don't know if you've seen the news, Caitlin. Have you seen the news recently about a certain old movie that's going to get rebooted or something?
I saw.
For the listeners that don't know, they're making a TV show out of the Burbs. Now, I've had a billion thoughts on it. One, I want to know your thoughts, Kate, but first I want to know, when you first read that news, were you like, now I'm going to have to talk about this movie even more?
No, that wasn't my first thought. My first thought, unfortunately, was they're going to f this up and it's going to bum out Kurt Money.
You know, it's likely it's going to be bad. It would be hard to make it good. And I mean, I can't speak to how bummed I'll be, but I'm genuinely happy for the movie to be back out and people are talking about it again. Even if this bombs, this movie is now a part of like the SEO of 2024 and not just 2019 when this really cool guy did a podcast about it.
Kurt B. Burbson. Kurt B. Blurbson.
Or 1989 when it came out. Like, it's back, it's current. And Keke Palmer's dope. And her performance in Nope is exactly what a Burbs TV show should have.
I was thinking that too. She's great.
The casting there is good. Now, the logline and stuff, it sounds like they're doing the movie straight up. And listeners of KBB and guests of KBB know that what they need to do is a reversal where the Klopeks are the good guys. So we don't know her character name, but her last name better be Klopek and not Peterson, because Tom Hanks needs to be the bad guy in this TV show, correct?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What if it's not at all what that write-up detailed? What if it's a completely new story with new characters?
I think, okay, so I wrote an email to Fuzzy Door Productions, which is Seth MacFarlane's company who's producing this. I wrote them directly and asked and pleaded and begged and told them why I needed to write on the show or like guard the crafty. Either or. I wanted to be involved in this show somehow because I'm an expert on the Burbs. If I could be confident about one thing in my life, Caitlin, is that I know more about the Burbs than anybody else. What do you think?
I think that's probably very, very accurate. But I wonder if this version is going to be about black people moving into white suburban neighborhoods. And it's going to be more about race.
Well, wait, that's what we want to happen. That's why, because I think that's what makes it a great allegory for today.
Right, but then the Petersons and the Klopeks won't be involved at all. It'll be completely different.
Oh, no, I mean, look, the logline, I feel it was a safety logline where it was just literally a press release saying the premise is going to be related to the movie. And it's funny because they did that to satisfy the fans, but they f***ed up in the worst way possible to f*** up. Did you hear about this part?
No.
Like, I'm even down for Seth MacFarlane. I think he's done funny stuff, and he's in animation, and The Burbs is a live-action Looney Tunes. I've always said that.
Listen,
right?
Seth MacFarlane makes the best Star Trek on TV today.
There you go. Orville?
Yes.
Do you watch it?
I do, and it's better than the current Star Trek offerings.
Wow. That makes me think I should check it out because a lot of the comments were, why isn't he just doing another season of the Orville? And I wanted to be like, block this person, block them, block them.
I think he will be doing another season of it, but it's just he has other things he wants to do too.
And the idea of making the Klopeks a black family in a white neighborhood I would argue is too perfect for today. I don't think it's on the nose. I don't think it's like woke or what. I think it fits perfectly into what Joe Dante originally wanted for the Burbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna end this here because we got an award show to do. I could see people checking their phones. I said no f***ing phones. Some people I see brought them in, and I know one of them. This MFer. I'm not gonna say who it is.
How you doing, buddy? It's good to be here.
Mrs. Colombo, would you go take care of that?
Thank you. Last thing on the Burbs before we get back to the award show. The wrap up to that is I wrote an email begging to be a writer on it. And I told them, I said, here's an opinion unsolicited. And I said the fans would love to see the original ending happen, right? Where they're not evil. But in this reversal, they are evil and they can be evil. So you could still have that ending. But it's going to make or break. If her last name is Klopek, I'm going to feel good about it. If it's Peterson, I'm not going to feel good about it. And not because Peterson's white and Keke Palmer's black. That's got nothing to do with it. Now, point is, they didn't involve Joe Dante at all.
Why?
That's so fucking... I wrote the email before I learned that.
Did you include a link to KBB?
Oh, yeah. And I also included a link to the 2 episodes of the KBB, the show that I did, which I am like half clothed for most of because they all took place in the original Kurt Cave.
I remember those.
So that's the birds in Japanese.
So I sent them that, and I told them how many episodes we did, and I kept I hit up their social today. Anyway, I'm going to be real annoying to them or real awesome, and I hope they accept the real awesome, but Joe Dante tweeted about this, and he had a great tweet. He just said, he did a link or whatever, and he said, call me maybe. That's good, right? That's a good move. That's because Joe Dante still rules. He still rules. He loves Carly Rae. And I can't believe, because it involves Dana Olson, the writer of the Burbs. Kurt, you can talk about this in season 2. Back to the awards. Most revealing Kateline Mome, nominee number 4.
Mayor Daddy, episode 30.
Do you remember who that is?
I do. And I stand by it. He's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he looks like the little guy from...
Island of Dr. Moreau. Continue.
Yeah, he does look like him, but he's cute.
He just wants to shake your hand.
This was pretty wild to me. I had come in so hot with thinking that the guy that got killed was good looking, and you were like, nah, I'm all about his BFF. I want to get on that Murdaddy dick.
I didn't really say it like that, but...
Rob is a 59-year-old, good-looking guy. I felt like he's your style. Did you find this guy attractive, Kate?
No, but there was someone else in this that I was really feeling.
Not Murphdog. Don't tell me Murphdog.
Yeah.
You've got to be shitting me.
Oh, yeah. Kurt, let me tell you about it.
Please do.
I love this man. He is so...
Oh, my God.
He is so cute and so funny.
3 left.
Kateline and Gru's happily ever after.
What can you tell us about this?
I like pointy features. Gru has the ultimate pointy nose. I'm here for it. He's got a really good profile.
You and Gru, match made in heaven.
Loud and proud.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. Number 6.
I was never a pedophile.
I wasn't. At no point. I have never been attracted to children, even when I myself was a child. I've always been attracted to adults, and I'm very lucky that never got me into any trouble.
Yeah, I'm thinking of I can't call that on the socials. I feel like that'll get flagged so hard. And it's just so funny because it's just you saying you weren't attracted to kids when you were a kid. It was some fun wordplay on your part, and I think it's hilarious that you were... as long as I've known you, 15, 20 years or whatever, I've known your type, and they're older men. But to find out it was when you were 6... is something else.
Yeah, it's something.
That's the magic that keeps bringing it back.
It's a curse. It's the burden that I carry.
And now the last one. Another burden we found out about that you were very honest about and upfront. This one is called A Hypochondriac Was Right Once, parentheses, a.k.a. Kate's Curse.
I am a hypochondriac.
But you have a good reason.
Whenever there's something wrong with me, I'm always right. There is something wrong.
Yeah. If I was in a support group for hypochondriacs, I'd say I shouldn't be in here. I should be with the soothsayers and the
right
and psychics. Where's the psychic room, right?
Totally.
So I get where your head's at there, and I support it. But I just loved that for how guarded you are about the deets. You were ready to talk about that, and I liked it. Now the winner. 2 of these moments are from the same episode, so I'm just going to say it's episode 30. Here are the winners. It's a dual winner: Besties with Alfie Moe and T-Daltz and Murdaddy. They were just 3 moments. Because Alfie Moe and T-Daltz, that was 2 separate times.
Huh.
God, were you dropping hints in that ep?
Interesting.
Do you regret it? Do you hear me saying this back to you and you're going I really got to button it up?
No, I don't regret it. I don't have regrets.
Wow. Boy.
No regrets, Kurt.
But we do have some regrets, and it is now time for the In Memoriam.
In Memoriam.
Where we call out something that is no more. And this year's In Memoriam of Season 1 of the Lestys.
Thursday Shorties.
Thursday Shorties. Out of here! We're done with them.
We're not doing them. They're not real.
Now, we don't know what Dateline's going to do, because that's what we love about it. They're going to do what they want when they want. We don't know if there's still going to be 2 new eps a week. But the fact is, we're going to have... Our newest episode will be about the previous Friday's Friday Fatty. That's what an episode will be. We'll do some on the shorties if they're good. Because look, I'll be honest. When we pick out the best episode, there's a shorty in there. There is a shorty in the best of episodes. So there's worth to them, but it was just, our feeling was they sucked too much. They were too much such thin filth. I felt like we were doing a Snapped podcast. And it's like, what am I doing here? It's the same thing every episode. So no more Thursday shorties, but that is good. And we'll talk about more about this at the end. But the season 2 schedule, no gaps, take us through 52 weeks. And it's going to be on the good stuff. We're going to do a few more from the vaults as well, because we picked out some bangers. How do you feel about that?
I'm on board. I'm excited. I'm excited to get after season 2.
Cool. Thursday shorties have left the building. I kicked them out of the arc light. They're not welcome back. Get out of here. All right. We're coming to the end of the night. We only have 4 more. Wait, 1, 2, 3. We only have 5 more categories, Caitlin.
5 more? Kurt, I thought you said there was going to be under 10.
Who said that?
You did. You said we got to keep it under 10 or else the show's going to be too long.
Well, I'll remind you, I also said, look, there's going to be stuff that we can cut wholesale. We're just going to get it all so I can press it all together. So I say...
Okay, well...
Tough shit, basically.
Let's pick up the pace.
We'll be right back. 2024 Lesty Awards are sponsored by The Burbs.
Welcome to Mayfield Place, a typical street in the burbs,
Morning, Walter.
where nothing much ever happened until the Klopeks moved in.
Klopex? Klopex. Klopek. No one goes in, no one comes out.
Neighbors from hell.
The burbs. It's one hell of a neighborhood.
All right, number 9.
All-Star of All-Stars.
We're picking the best All-Stars. This is a big category right here. And unlike the Dingus Supreme, these are all worthy contenders, and you're going to remember probably all of them, okay? Because these are memorable motherfuckers for us. First up,
Detective Oban Chain, episode 49.
We love her. We love her. Lowered down into a ravine.
Even though she's afraid of heights or whatever, or afraid of ravines.
She's a badass. Nothing's going to stop her. She solved the case, got the murderer.
Yeah, and solved. We're talking about the girl with the hibiscus tattoo. So she's a Santa Monica detective who was told by some lackey in the department that there's someone here with a missing person. Like, because their young 20-something daughter was missing. And instead of saying, oh, she's probably just out having fun, Open Chain said, let's get on it right now, today. Let's solve it. And unlike a stooge we talked to recently...
The only thing anyone actually heard was when Tanku came out, yelling and screaming.
She's not here bragging about it. She's so soft-spoken about it, right? Like, she's just doing her job. And that's why she's a nominee for All-Star of All-Stars. Next up.
Yvonne Pointer, episode 31.
This was Gloria's mother.
Yep.
This woman is incredible. She lost her daughter, and she is not letting that happen to anybody else's daughter. She's out there doing the work, and she's so cool that AC is like buds with her.
Text buds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny. She deserves to be on this list. I guess we'll see. It was hard for the Holtheads to pick a winner in this category because they're all pretty dope. But there is one that stands higher than the others. So next nominee.
Mama Dodge.
Angie Dodge's mom.
I almost put my fist through the TV.
She was never not crying.
Yeah.
And she took on those Mormon street toughs.
Yeah. Now, this is an all-star because of her perseverance with this, but more so because she was fighting on behalf of the guy in prison for the murder of her daughter. I mean, I'm getting chills saying it right now. Like, this is what she's crying about for years and years and years. That's really cool.
She wanted her daughter's murder to be solved, but she didn't want just anyone to do the time for it.
Yeah.
She recognized an injustice, and she was fighting for everybody.
Yeah. And there were so many times in that app where I'm like, wait, who was the person who did this cool thing? And every time it was Mama Dodge. It's like, wait, how'd they get that pube story rolling? Mama Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, go back there and look for it for real. Like, she was something else. She was pretty awesome. All right, next up.
Nancy Shore, episode 4.
Well, Nancy is your girl.
I love her. Yeah. She wrote a book, killer title, wordplay, just tons of it, about coming back to shore and stuff, which is her maiden name. So
we are big fans of Nancy. This woman caught a bullet, lost an eye, and she essentially lost her whole family because her husband tried to kill her and her kids are supporting him.
And we're from the time and from the jump. And we're on his side in the trial.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is another thing where it's a special kind of shout out because her own family supports the guy who is the reason she only has one eye and the other one falls out sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and she's remarried and she's turned it around. I wouldn't be able to. I mean, a lot of these people that go through stuff, I'd be like, kudos to them for even making it this far. Because there'd be another Dateline about me killing my kids, my husband, if I was in Nancy Shore's shoes. Yeah?
She's a strong woman, and we love her for it.
Boom. Next up. All right. Now, this one's going to be easy for you to pull, Kateline. Jam Boys! Jam Boys!
Oh, yeah, Jam Boys.
My boy.
He's your boy. You love him.
Still, I said it in the episode, and it still remains the greatest last line of a Dateline ever is his fucking body slam on Mark Moonman Jensen. He literally took a fake revolver out of his holster and blew on it like, got him. And then had an awesome line about eating steak and wine. And he literally takes out, she goes, how'd that feel? And he takes out a fake gun, blows it, and puts it in his holster and says like I got him.
I got that son of a bitch.
Right? And he's going, and every time I
have a nice steak dinner with a good glass of wine, I'm going to enjoy it all that much more, knowing Mark Jensen's getting down a bologna sandwich and a glass of water, because that guy's going to die in prison.
I stood up and cheered at that part, because that was like 25 years in the making, dude. Oh, it was pretty good. I had to put him on here for that, because we hated Mark Jensen so much. Remember that?
We did. He was the worst.
All right, now this last one, and I know the winner here, but boy, this is a close one, I think. But this is the last nominee, the Chameleon Kill Squad. Who am I talking about? The Chameleon Kill Squad. Maybe this will help. Sherry and Dee Dee.
This was John Smith's wife's daughter and sister, who the cops literally said if they ever went missing, they would want those two on the case.
They were great. They had their own little detective moves that we were impressed with, literally. Like calling up and saying, hey, Mrs. Smith, and, waiting for a response. Not that's good. All the shoe leather stuff they had to do.
Mm-hmm. They did more than the cops.
All right. Who do you think is the winner of the All-Star of All-Stars? Based on what we just went over.
I think it's Nancy.
Nailed it. It's Nancy. It's got to be Nancy. And this is a great point that I teased earlier. Nancy wins because her kids are against her, and they support the guy that had her shot, who also cheated on her and had, business holdings with that cheated person and, property they owned together. I mean, the con was real. His work thought the wife was the other woman. I mean, I can't describe enough the hell that Nancy Shore was put through. So I got to go with her because she's still rocking it today. And this is where I'm going to make a decree here, sometimes called a moratorium. I am going to retire from saying the daughters' names by name moving forward. I'm still going to be using that soundbite. It's too good. The wait what, okay?
I'm sorry, what?
And we'll come up with a fun name for them, but this is my gift to Nancy Shore because I bet she wouldn't want us to. I mean, I'd love to talk about how much I dislike the Howard sisters by name, but I don't want to do it because I feel like Nancy wouldn't be about it. What do you think, Kateline? You like that?
I approve.
But it's still cool if I do the soundbite, right?
Yeah, because they're not in it.
Their voices in it.
I thought it was AC saying wait what?
No, that's Ashley Howard.
Oh.
Number 10.
Best fan of the pod.
This is a tough one.
All
We have
right.
so many loyal fans.
We do. Here are the nominees.
Timmers.
There's a guy in New Jersey who I met through the Burbs, naturally, and he came over and joined us in the Burbs on the Dateline, and he's here for it, okay? He loves the show. We love him. Next up.
Cheryl.
Cheryl rules. Cheryl loves the show, yeah? Mm-hmm. And here's what I love about Cheryl. 3 of these people, that you know what? I can always count on them for a like. I pop out a poster. Takes 30 hours to make. I get those likes, and I got to tell you, Cheryl and Timmers and other people on this, it feels good to get that notification, okay? This is some real best fan stuff I'm talking. And number 3 nominee is Star.
Star.
Another fan of the show that has listened from the jump. Also, do you know does Cheryl watch Dateline? Because Timmers and Star do not. They don't watch the show.
Cheryl does not.
Okay, isn't that crazy? I feel like we might have to lean into that or something. Number 4,
Danielle.
Another huge fan of the show, and I'll get messages, not on Instagram because she's not on there, but she would also be there with the likes if she hadn't quit Instagram. But Danielle, if this episode's not up that morning, I'm getting a text. I'm getting a text that's saying, what's up? Where's the ep? And I love it.
Good, honey.
So we got Timmers, Cheryl, Star, and Danielle. Now, who do you think, Kateline, we picked? This was you and I. We picked the winner of this one. Who's the best fan of the pod?
This is going to be like in that scene in Mean Girls where Katie breaks the tiara up into all the little pieces and shares it with everybody.
Oh, that's right. Because everybody's winning this one. Timmers gets a Lesty. Cheryl gets a Lesty. Star gets a Lesty. And Danielle, that's right. You get a Lesty too. Well deserved. Well deserved. And thank you for being a fan. Next category. Best fan of the pod who has never listened to a single episode of the pod. We got 2 nominees in this category. We got 2.
That's got to be Mom Money and Jillionaire.
You're damn right.
Mom Money, Jillionaire.
I love that our moms don't support our endeavors.
All right, here we go. 2 left. I rented the ArcLight all night, so there's an after party that you will not be attending, of course. But we about to rage it up in here. We're going to watch all the movies that we talked about. We're going to talk about friggin' Dumb and Dumber, The Shining, Kill Bill, all these movies from the categories. We're doing a little movie marathon after the show. What do you think? You want to hang around?
No.
Next category.
Most hateable villain.
This is going to be a tough one.
It is tough because they're all murderers.
A murderer of something, absolutely. Number 1.
Michael Turney.
Yeah, he murdered her.
I'm going to include a brand new fresh clip from that episode because I rewatched it for this, and I couldn't believe I didn't include it. It was such a great example of how disgusted AC was with this POS.
You can understand now how someone with pipe bombs could be seen as very unstable.
I don't want to get into the pipe bomb things. I have no memory of them. And I still don't.
Of the pipe bombs?
That's right.
No memory?
No memory of it.
How's that possible?
Beats me.
Oh, you think the pipe bombs were planted in your house?
I'm not going to comment on that.
So that's Michael Turney.
Tony Tongue.
Surely you remember Tony
Tongue. I hate this guy.
How would I know? I was in New York. That's one of his great lines. Or also, how could we forget? Might as well see the rest of it. I mean, I'm in the basement already. Might as well see the rest of it. Where you my wife.
In his gross apartment.
Remember he was watching Raiders and checking Facebook.
And doing the dishes.
Yeah. Number 3.
Remy Ramsaran.
I honestly can't even talk about this man. It's going to make me too angry.
Well,
it's going to ruin my whole night.
Okay, and save a little juice because he might come up in the last category. So
okay.
I'll go. With a name this specific, it'll be shocking if you don't know who I'm talking about, and that'd be John Smith.
I do know who you're talking about.
He is naturally on this list because his kink and that moment, that trailer moment when he was getting pulled away and he winked. Remember when he's pulled away on the stretcher and he winked?
Yep.
Okay.
That's some movie villain right there.
Next up, Drunk Frosty. Now, a little refresher on this. This is the Joy episode. Joy Hibbs. Remember with that body? Look at that body, right?
Yes.
This MFer was a CI who sold weed and meth, supposedly. And because of that, he was allowed to get away with murder for 20 years. And also, the son of the murdered woman was told by the police who work with this CI, what are you worried about? Your dad did it. Go home. What do you think? What do you think?
Who was Frosty?
Robert Atkins. Now, he says, well, I wasn't, but I am now. Like, he was, remember April Atkins?
Right.
Remember April?
That's what it was.
Remember their phone calls?
That's what it was. He sounded exactly like Frosty. I didn't put that together. That was you editing. You found that. It's
right
uncanny how much he sounds like that.
They're playing the recording, and she says, are you paying attention? And he goes, well, I wasn't, but I am now.
Are you paying attention to me?
I wasn't, but I am now.
Like, he sounded like an angry, drunk Frosty the Snowman.
Hey, I said my first word, but snowmen can't talk.
Okay.
You remember what Frosty sounded like?
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
I didn't do anything. I don't know what the you're talking about.
That's very Frosty-like. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, if you're mentally handicapped. Okay, and now the last nominee for most hateable villain.
The Last Day.
Oh, The Last Day itself.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and let them share it with the cock.
The Cock.
They're kind of both to blame. But yeah, The Last Day. Tell us about The Last Day.
Well, because it was a money grab on the part of Universal, Comcast, Kmart.
Yeah.
And
it's
just Dateline repackaged in a shorter form. It's lazy.
With lower thirds.
We hate it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's kind of like the argument that The Simpsons should stop, because the more Simpsons you make, the more you're diluting the good episodes and burying them. And I think that's what The Last Day is guilty of, is diluting the Dateline brand. I genuinely think that.
I agree.
I mean, the entire premise of the ID channel is a pun-filled title, and they crushed things in there to fit. And that's what this was. Like, taking every crime and going, it just came down to that day, huh? We must talk about it.
Every murder was done in a day. Every day is a day.
Yep.
You can't do something that takes a second in more than one day.
Okay. That's a good point. You can't. The killing someone part happens in an instant.
It does. It's an
and
instant.
it's always the
And
last
it's
day
always-
of the victim's life.
Right. Every time someone dies, it's their last day.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that's a premise.
Yeah.
And the winner is Remy Ransaran.
Good.
Remy wins because the last day is a murderer of good times and vibes. But at least at this time of recording, you cannot punish a company by law for killing vibes. So we got to give it to Remy Ramsran, who is just yelling at AC, putting his hand up in her face, talking about how prison's fun and blah, 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 blah.
He is the most hateable, most annoying person that's ever been on Dateline.
Yeah, and he texted me about picking up this Lesty, and I said, it's inside of a porta potty outside. I'm not going to tell you which one, but you're going to have to reach inside the poop to find it. And here's the funny thing, Kateline, there's no Lesty in there because we hate him. And now, it's Kateline's favorite part of the show, the end, because we've got the last category.
Best episode of the year.
What episode? We got 50 episodes to pick from, and we're going to say who the fans picked as the very best. Now, it's not the best Dateline episode, okay? It's the best episode of ILH.
I honestly don't know what the fans consider. What do the fans think makes a good episode? I don't know. Is it we roast Murph the most? Is it you and I laughing at ourselves the most? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they're pretty much in line with us, though, because check out these nominees.
The Remy Dilemma.
Uh-huh.
A Perfect Life. That is nominated for Best Episode of the Year because we were so friggin' mad at him. And lest we forget, we can't talk about Remy without talking about the dried salt on his back when he's jamming out to Skrillex, decided to cheat on his wife.
It wasn't Skrillex. It was Skillet.
Skillet, I apologize. Skillet. I would never put that on Skrillex. Skillet, maybe they're around. I don't know. They got one fan who's locked up, who's going to get out of prison in like 5 years. He's going to be out. We're going to be doing the show, and Remy Ramsran's going to be on the loose.
Hopefully he doesn't come for us.
Yeah, I'm worried about all the people he's going to come for just to talk to them. Because that was when I knew I hated this guy.
Yes.
Is when he was like, AC, please give me a topic to talk about. I'll be more than happy to provide. Remember that? Like, that's a good thing? Like,
I hate it. I absolutely hate that you just referenced that because now I'm thinking about it and I'm hearing it in my head.
Yep.
Any question, ask me. I'll be more than happy to provide.
Next up.
The 00 Canuck Jet Skier.
You gotta know what episode that is.
This episode is crazy. It is our wildest episode. There's so many twists and turns. It's very confusing. Dude doesn't even have a last name. What is going on?
And that somehow got on his license, just said Jason. And he would do things on purpose to get caught.
And
to throw the cops off the set. He did it twice with the sheath and the hat, right? And then the truck, what'd you call the truck? Oh, a bait car or something?
It was a bait car, yeah.
I mean, and hey, the literal jet skiing. I mean, he jet skied to America and it worked. And they found an abandoned jet ski like on the coast and stuff. It was wild what this guy was able to get up to.
The most frustrating part for me was that they interviewed his cousin, and at no point did the cousin provide them with any information about who he was.
Yeah, and
it was a half-brother. It wasn't even a cousin. They literally had
their kin.
Their blood.
Yeah, and remember this? Uh-oh. I think Jason's brother's here because he's talking to the cops while he's tapping. He wasn't enjoying himself too much in the interrogation room, okay? He was tapping. He wouldn't stop tapping his fingers, okay? He's going, oh, sewers. Like, what? Sewers? What the are you talking about, sewers? Oh, he likes sewers. Tap, 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 tap.
I'm thinking sewers. I'm sorry? I would think sewers.
Okay, why do you say that?
Just because he likes sewers.
He likes sewers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember the tapping? Remember that?
I do. What a bananas episode.
Next up.
J-Mank Gets It, Part 1.
No, he always gets it.
Hey, that's why it's Part 1, because it sounds like he's getting it all over the place.
Episode 10.
This was the dreaded episode where we mistakenly, for 10 seconds, referred to the volunteers as being in Texas. A sin we have never been forgiven of from some former fan.
Yes.
Right?
It was the Tennessee. It was Tennessee, not Texas.
Yeah, and I'm glad that this is one of the 2 episodes where I wrote down little stuff, because I'm going to say stuff and you're going to go, oh yeah, this is totally nominated. And here it is. Smash the topic. Smash the topic.
Smash the topic. We out here.
Yeah, cold world, man. Cold world.
J-Mank did a ride-along.
Mm-hmm.
with his fade.
His brand new fade, looking trim. And this is, not only that, this is the tackiest funeral ever. Remember, it was paid for with the GoFundMe that the Karens set up for the killer of Jamie. They raised $65,000.
Yes.
And they had party favors like it was a wedding vow renewal party.
Right.
On the I'm Lester hold of it all, this might be the first time you made fun of my fat ass.
Oh, I wasn't making fun of it.
Oh, well, whatever. I mean, look, it's the first time that we've talked about it, and the exact quote is, "How can you walk around with that ass?" One of three.
I still don't know how you can. It's so big. It's like a tabletop back there.
What a delight it has been to listen to these eps and forget about other moments where it's come up. So that is J-Mank Gets It, Part 1. Next up, nominee for Best Episode of the Year.
J-Mank Gets It, Part 2.
Now, this is episode 45, and all I got to do is say one little word to remind you about this one. Moosonee.
Moosonee, yes. J-Mank took a train up north to the remote town of Moosonee.
Like, that is an example of the smallest town in existence, where it's a one-train town, and that's the only way to get in or out.
Mm-hmm. It's so far removed, you can't even get there by road.
And this is what I thought Kateline was training through, because there was snow there when we were checking out Moosonee. They had to take a helicopter just to get to the main town, and then take a train to get to where the brothers lived, because it was a familial DNA thing, and we had 5 brothers, and we knew that one of them was guilty. So we had to knock them off one by one without them knowing about it happening. That was good stuff.
That was some good journalism.
Yeah, and I thought of a great idea for a movie about it, and I say in the app I'm going to cut that out and stuff, but I purposely left it in because that itself is my copyright. I mean, you don't win money on copyright stuff. Those are always in court. But guess what? I can always say, well, check out our episode from 2023. Smart, huh? What do you think? I feel like that's the new mail it to yourself in an envelope.
Sure. You talked about it on the pod.
Kissing Corpses, Episode 31.
Kissing Corpses. Dateline. Kissing Corpses.
That's right.
This was the episode. Legitimately, this is a nominee for Best Episode of the Year, and it was a Thursday shorty. But it was a weird one because it was when we discovered it was was it the first last day? This was the last day. And we were mad that it didn't get the full treatment, because like they had to cut stuff out of the last day to get to it. And Kissing Corpses is only one of like the 5 insane things that happened in that episode.
He's got great lawyers.
But he does not have a great immune system. Kateline, because guess what finally got his ass in December of 2020?
COVID.
Yeah! Is that come on, nothing? You don't think that's... I mean, look, the state tried for years to kill this guy. They couldn't touch him. But then COVID came around and was like, I got this. Dink. What?
It is morbid.
For that all to be in a Thursday shorty, boy howdy. Next up. Look, I promise we're almost done, okay?
Yeah.
The last nominee. This one's just called Marry Me.
John Smith.
Chameleon. Killer up. It was the FF. It could not have been more built up. I read a book about it. There was a killer FF on it, and the Dateline delivered. We had Sherry and Dee Dee. I mean, it was popping off.
You hyped it up for weeks.
And it friggin' delivered. I'm pretty partial to this one. Just all of it is insane. Okay, so that's our nominees. Now the winner, drumroll please, quietly. Best Episode of the Year. Is it the 00 Canuck Jet Skier, the Remy Delemmy, J-Mate Gets It Part 1, J-Mate Gets It Part 2, Kissing Corpses, or Marry Me? Oh, that one was better. What do you think, Kateline? Which one won?
Is it the Canuck?
It is. The 00 Canuck Jet Skier was picked because in the episode you call it an all-timer, and you don't f around with, what are those called when you say things that are like overall things? For you to say something is an all-timer, I guarantee it's an all-timer. It was a wild-ass episode. I mean, it's a catch me if you can type thing that should also be a movie. And if you remember in the back of the car of Dwayne Demke, there was that Skyfall thing. It was not a DVD or a Blu-ray like we discussed. It was a paper something. But we were like, why didn't they bring up the Bond thing more? And now we know why. In hindsight, because they had the girl with the hibiscus tattoo around the corner. And that's all Bond.
Right.
So
I didn't put that together. Good call.
Right on. They never... I'm okay with them not, but they never showed anything Bond related. You know what? Because they spent all that money on the Mazda Miata B-roll shoot throughout Hollywood. Remember?
Yeah.
5 minutes of the episode is this car.
I don't think they can get rights to Bond stuff.
All right, so that's going to do it for the 2024 Lestys. This was the inaugural season to celebrate our first year podcasting. Special thanks to everybody out here in the crowd who snuck in and kept silent. There's still nobody in AA22. Wait a minute. The chair is moving. There's a sound coming from it. Oh my God! It's the chameleon! Somebody get the kill squad on the phone! Let's get out of here!
Thanks for watching the 2024 Lesty Awards. Be sure to catch the premiere of I'm Lester Holt Season 2 dropping September 30th.